Hi, everybody. Okay, let's start with our introduction, and we can start with our name and then the article that we had to read last week. And if you didn't read an article, it's okay if you tell us about a newspaper or a book that you read. Chaneli, would you like to start?
I'm Chanuli. My article is about Japanese people. Japanese people can be described using several words. They are polite, clean, and kind. They have access amazing technology. They are also intelligent and hardworking. It's amazing to know about what they feel about cleanliness. They begin with their day by cleaning their houses and surroundings. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, I heard in Japan it's also hard to find like public trash cans. Like apparently you have to like keep your trash with you until you find a trash can inside of a building. I thought that was pretty cool or interesting. Okay, Nethala, would you like to share? Thank you for sharing, Chaneli.
Yes, teacher. My name is Netula. I read the article about devices for enabling IoT applications.
Mhm.
It refers to the networking of physical objects through the use of sensors, actuators, and other devices. Examples of services they can offer, when we talk about wearables, there are many services: entertainment, fitness, smartwatch, and location and tracking. When we talk about another topic about healthcare, there is many services such as remote controlling, remote monitoring, ambulance, telemetry, drugs tracking, and access control. It is a new technology in latest technical era. It is very important to people and it is easier to live. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for sharing. Let's have one more person share and then we can move on from introductions, okay? Siddhika or Tarudini, would you like to share?
My name is Situka. I read a book. In 2001 is written by Arthur C. Clarke.
Mhm.
It is known about the Earth. We go to Uranus, Mars, and we doing things. This next world generation is technologies and some cars of technologies. No, yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. Let's move on to our punctuation practice review. So we'll just be going over all the punctuation that we've learned over the past 2 weeks. All right, so who wants to start with A? With the sentence A. If you guys would like a hint, just unmute your mics and let me know and I'll give you some.
Comma.
No, in this case, we're dealing with a quote. So the teacher said, okay, so it says the teacher said, and then we have a quote. The article we read on Tuesday titled The Great Depression is long, but we've read much longer articles. So one of the punctuation one of the punctuations that we're going to use in this will be quotes. And then another one will be our single quotes. If you guys want me to review that, I can do that. So remember, a quote or double quotes are to start and end it's like either a conversational statement like my mom said go clean your room. The go clean your room part would be in quotes, right? Because it's something that she said.
The double cross.
So do you know where the double quotes would go?
There is double cross.
Yeah. Can you tell me which word the article or the double quotes would go before and after?
It go to the.
Yep, before the. So the teacher said the article we read on Tuesday, titled The Great Depression, is long, but we've read much longer articles. Okay, so now where's the end quote?
There is full stop.
There is a full stop, yeah, at the end. But do you know where the second pair of the double quotes is located?
They are also double cross.
Yeah, we have double quotes at the end of the sentence, right? Because this is what the article, or sorry, not the article, sorry. That's what the teacher told us, right? The teacher told us that the article we read on Tuesday is long, but we read much longer articles, right? So that's like the full quote that he said. But inside the this quote, we also have the teacher referencing an article. And do you remember how we or what the correct punctuation is for articles or for sentences within a sentence or within a quoted sentence? So we also have a pair of single quotes in a sentence. And remember, single quotes are used when we're referencing an article or another quote within a larger quote, right? So can someone tell me where those single quotes would go in this case?
At the start of the Great Depression and the end of the Great Depression.
Yep, perfect. All right, so the article we read on Tuesday, and then we also have a comma in this. Can someone tell me where it is? A comma and an apostrophe.
Yeah, apostrophe is on weave.
Yep.
We have.
Yep, perfect. So is long, but we have read much longer articles. And it's a conjunction of the words we and have. So we've.
The comma is on at the end of the teacher said. Is it
Yeah. Then we also have one more comma in this. So the teacher said, comma, good job. Remember, commas can also separate informational clauses.
After the word be, but your depression is long, but.
Yeah, yeah, you could do that. Because remember, it could also be commas can also combine two independent clauses with a conjunction word. So that's correct. So we have a but, comma. And then we could also do it on or the article you read on Tuesday titled The Great Depression can also have commas after it. Because remember, this is we can completely omit this sentence and then the sentence will still make sense, right? So it can also be to surround informational clauses like titled The Great Depression. All right, so this is the full complete sentence. The teacher said, article we read on Tuesday titled The Great Depression is long, but we've read much longer articles. Good job. All right, let's do sentence B. This one's a lot easier than A.
Yes,
This one uses a hyphen. Sorry, go ahead.
There is question mark after Toby.
Yep, perfect. All right, and then we also use a hyphen in this case.
There is comma after list.
Yeah. If you want, you could do that. So did you make a to-do list? Well, here's the thing. So with the comma after the list, if you want, it would make more sense to probably put a more like an in-depth or detailed like statement after the comma. So you could do this since we are it is kind of, we're referring to Toby as like the person who's making the list, but again, like it's not really necessary in this case.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead.
After to, there is a hyphen.
Yes, perfect. So remember, to-do list, there's a hyphen right there because they can be used to combine two words to make or like two full words to make, I guess, a combined word. All right, and then what about C?
There is comma after however.
There's also a comma before however. So many of his comments, however, revealed he was smarter than he seemed. And then we're missing one more punctuation mark.
Full
There
stop.
is stop.
Full stop.
Sorry, one more time.
Full stop.
Yes,
Full stop.
perfect. Yeah. All right, and now let's do sentence D.
After tomorrow, there is a comma.
There is apostrophe after can.
Sorry, could you say that one more time?
Apostrophe after can.
Yep, perfect. All right. So there's an apostrophe inside of can't, because remember, can't is the combination of can and not. So can't. All right, I have a big test tomorrow. I can't go out tonight. Great job. All right, so if with punctuation, we're almost done with it. We're just gonna quickly go over the parentheses, or sorry, the parentheses, square brackets, and ellipses. And asterisks are a little too advanced, but if they ever do come up while I'm teaching, I'll give you like a quick rundown of it. So parentheses are just the punctuation marks that are used to set off information within a text or paragraph. So parentheses will always like come in pairs, and they can enclose a single word, a phrase, or even an entire sentence. Typically, the words inside the parentheses provide extra information about something else in the sentence. So the most important part is that parentheses provide extra information. Sorry, so bright. I'll do with the red color, that might be easier to see. There you go. Okay, so parentheses provide extra information. All right, that's basically the most boiled down version of parentheses. So for example, curators from the American Museum of Natural History, and then in these parentheses, we have AMNH. AMNH stands for the American Museum of Natural History. The reason this might be important is because further down the article or the paragraph that you're writing, you can refer to the American Museum of Natural History now as AMNH. So like the AMNH released a statement yesterday, or I don't know, last week, about their new I don't know, new moose collection. Okay, so now when you write MAMNH, because of the parentheses, we know that you are referring to the American Museum of Natural History. All right, so that's one example where parentheses can come in use. But remember, parentheses aren't used too much in formal writing. We try to stay away from it. However, in cases like these, especially for abbreviation, it can be helpful. So another example, this is a more informal example. So while walking down the street and then in quotes, paying more attention to her phone than her feet, Catherine tripped over the curb and sprained her ankle. So remember, this can be completely omitted, right? And the sentence would still make sense. So while walking down the street, Catherine tripped over the curb and sprained her ankle. But oopsie, what happened? There you go. But by adding this, we added some extra information that kind of helped I guess helped make the sentence make more sense. Because now we know why she tripped, right? So yeah. Was anyone like to give me either a formal or informal example of parentheses? Of the use of parentheses? So we could do some informal parentheses, since I think those might be a little easier to come up with. So you can start by making a sentence, and then in parentheses, you can add something to that sentence. Okay? So for example, I'll give you an example. So I woke up late this morning. Okay? That would be a full sentence. I could say I woke up late around 9:30 would be something there you go. I woke up late around 9:30 a.m. this morning. So remember, this can be omitted and the sentence would still make sense, right? But remember, this is a very informal way of writing. So can someone give me another example? Just like this. So you can just start by making a full sentence and then add some piece of extra information that isn't completely necessary to the sentence in parentheses.
The organization responsible for World Health is World Health Organization
Is I know where you go.
is WHO.
Perfect. Good job. I spelled it wrong twice. Sorry. There you go. But yes, this is a great example of a more formal way of using parentheses, right? So the WHO would be our abbreviation of the World Health Organization. Now, further down in the paragraph or article, if you're writing it, you can refer to the World Health Organization as WHO. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, let's move on to square brackets. So square brackets are very similar to parentheses. When they're very similar to parentheses. However, they have a much different use. Parentheses are used to kind of add extra information to a sentence, but square brackets are mostly just used for clarification, right? So there you go. Or it could be also the insertion of editorial material inside quotations, but in most cases you'll see brackets used for clarification. All right, let me highlight that red. All right. So an example is according to the police, according to the police, the suspect hid in a tree for 2 days before he was caught. So remember, this would be the example of editorial material inside quotations, right? So it is just to add extra clarification to the original sentence, right? So hid in a tree. So that's why they put it in the square brackets, because in a tree is just to help clarify where the suspect was hiding, right? And square brackets can also be used to to provide translation. So for example, in this sentence, Smith writes in his autobiography, I seldom spoke in French class. When I did, I usually said, je ne sais pas, which is, I don't know. Right? And the I don't know was used in square brackets because remember, square brackets can be used for clarification. And but in the previous example, they were used to insert an editorial material, which is just like while they were writing the article, this is just something that they felt would help clarify the sentence for readers, right? So we have so we've got both examples of the editorial material and the brackets used for clarification. And then in the third example, we have in his memoirs, the author reveals the year we moved into the house was a difficult one for us, both emotionally and financially. And they have the year of the house in brackets because remember this is just an addition to essentially like I guess are giving the a reader clarification of what I guess what occurred in the sentence, right? Because the I'm assuming that in this case the year mattered for the I guess for the year or I guess the year that they moved mattered in the context, right? With it being difficult emotionally and financially. All right, the next is ellipses. So ellipses are you'll mostly see ellipses like this. So it'll just be 3 periods or like full stops. But it's mostly used in informal writing and then very rarely in formal writing. So in informal writing, an ellipses can be used to represent a trailing off of thought. So for an example, like this one right here, I wasn't really what I mean. See, the thing is, I didn't mean it. They use the ellipses to show kind of the character, not like necessarily trailing in thought, but kind of being more confused, I guess. This would be an example of the trailing off of thought. Sorry, I repeated the sentence twice over here. Okay. So right here would be an example of the character's thoughts trailing off. So if only she had, and then we use the ellipses to show that the character's thoughts are trailing off, and then they said, oh, it doesn't matter now. So this, remember, is really informal. You most likely only see it in, I guess, fictional or just, yeah, mostly just fictional writing. All right, and now ellipses, when they are used formally, so for example, in articles or publications, ellipses are useful when working with quoted material. So for example, Thoreau argues that by simplifying one's life, the laws of the universe will appear less complex. They use this to show that there is more to the sentence, but they just cropped the necessary part, right? But remember, when quoting something else, you can't use ellipses before and after. So for example, this and then like a sentence here, right? And then this. This is not really something so hold on. There you go. This isn't something that is accepted in I know in both British and in American writing. Try to steer away from using it before and after a sentence because I know that by doing that you're implying that there's things that go before and after the sentence, but if it's just a full sentence, just cut off the ellipses and just use the full sentence in your quote. The only reason you should be using the ellipses after or in a formal writing would be after a quote saying that there's more to the sentence. So yeah, but don't ever put ellipses before because it's not really accepted in formal writing. Okay, so for ellipses, let's just focus on the informal examples for now. Does someone want to give me an example of using ellipses in informal writing? Also, please let me know if I'm like talking too fast or if you want some clarification. because I can go back and review it really quick if you'd like.
Mom,
Mhm.
comma, ring the bell.
We could so if you want to say ring the bell, it has to be like either in the present tense or in the past tense. So you could say if you say rung the bell, that means she did it in the past tense, or you could say ringing the bell, which means she's doing it in the present tense. So do you know which one you would want?
Present tense.
Okay, so we'll say we can say mom rung the bell, and then
Ellipses. Move forward.
wait, can you say that one more time?
Move forward. Move forward.
Is that like a quote that she said, or
Mm, mm,
all right, we could say mom rung the bell, and then you could say dot 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 to maybe you could, I guess, use that to represent a pause. And so mom rung the bell. And then you could say she rung the bell again.
mm.
And then let's see. You could say it is informal, so it's not you could say so we could just do again, again and again. So to kind of show that she's getting impatient. But yeah, that's a good example of using ellipses. And yes, and I like this example because it shows that we can also use ellipses for pauses, which I didn't really clarify over here. So like this one, for example, it does show that the character is confused, but it's representing that through the pauses. Awesome. Okay. Do you want should we have, okay, let's do one more ellipses example, and then we're gonna move on to our next topic. Or if not, we can just move on from this. It's okay. All right. Because I'm go ahead.
Um, and three ellipses.
So say that one more time. Sorry.
It is not she teacher. It is sound.
Oh, shh. Okay. Sorry.
Wind is strong. That wind is strong.
Yeah. So would be like it could be used as like an onomatopoeia even in this case, which is like words that I remember from our previous lessons are used to describe a sound. Thank you. That's a great example. Okay. Now we're gonna move on to plurals in English, and there's this poem that I think kind of sums it up really well, because plurals in English are a little confusing. It really is. It seems to be like in a just on a word basis. There's not really a pattern that it follows. So I think this poem is I guess a good way to get started. So does someone want to read the first paragraph of the poem? Do we have any volunteers? Taradini, would you like to go? Just read the first paragraph of this poem.
We will begin the The plural is boxes, but the plural called goose and two are called geese. Yet the plural of moose is never called meat.
Good job. All right.
Thank you.
Who wants to read the second paragraph? Thank you for turning on your mic and reading that. All right, Netala, would you like to go?
Yes, teacher.
All right, thank you. Can you read the second paragraph, please?
But the plural of ox is oxen, not oxes.
Oh, sorry, I meant the second paragraph. So from you may find the lone mouse to the plural of pen is never pen.
You may find a lawn mouse or a house full of mice, but the plural of house is houses, not highs. The plural of man is always men, but the plural of the pen is never pen.
Perfect, good job. All right, and would someone like to read the third paragraph, Channeling?
If I speak of a foot and you show me 2 feet and I give you a book, would a pair be big? If one is a tooth and a whole set are teeth, why shouldn't 2 boots be called beat?
Awesome, thank you. And then the last sentence is, if a singular this and the plural is these, should a plural of kiss be ever called keys? All right, so you can see that the plurals for all of these words are very different. So in this, we could start by, there you go. Let's start by listing the plurals of these words, right? So we have box. Can someone tell me the plural of box in this case? Or based off this word? Box. Yes. How about for ox?
Oxen.
What about for geese or goose? Sorry.
Geese.
I already said the answer. Sorry. That's my fault. Okay, how about moose? So this is not correctly given, but we can try to make a guess.
Mooses.
Yep, mooses. How about mouse?
Mice.
Perfect. Mice. What about
Houses.
house? Yep.
Houses.
Men.
Men.
And then this one isn't referred to, but I just wanted. What about the plural of people or person? Sorry.
Persons.
No, in this case, multiple persons would be people. Right. What about a foot?
Feet.
Good job.
Book.
Feet. And what about book?
Books.
All right. And let's go with tooth.
Teeth.
So booth, like a photography booth. What would multiple of those be called?
Boots.
Boots. Yeah, boots. And remember, what about this?
These.
Yep, the and plural of kiss would
Kisses.
be kisses. Exactly. So it wouldn't be keys. But do you see how these are all very similar? So foot and book are very similar, but their plural versions are very different. So foot would be feet and book would be books. All right. And even with person. So person does have multiple plurals. So person can be people or persons would also work. So people or persons. but the most common use is people. So I would yeah. All right. So let's start with the plurals in English. So in this case, these plurals would have this is where like the first word in the phrase would be a plural, or like would be turned plural, but it would again refer to the whole phrase. So for example, if I said fathers-in-law, that would refer to multiple fathers and father-in-laws, right?
In-law,
So sisters-in-law, yep.
teachers in
Mhm.
charge,
Teachers in charge. So do you see the pattern now? It's always the first one. So sons-in-law.
Passers by.
Yeah, this
yes,
would passerbys, passer, and then guests of honor.
Guests of honor.
Mhm. And this is
commanders in
Commanders in chief.
job.
no,
All right, what about this
not
one?
a public,
Yes, so this one, the notaries public. So this is a government position. And so we would do notar, I guess notaries, in this case, public. So this is like a government position, and so multiple people who hold that position would be notaries notaries public. Okay, let's all right. So that's just like the start of our plurals in English. We're gonna go more in depth of about plurals next week. This is just kind of like an intro. And next week, we're also going to be focusing on descriptive speech. So we'll do the first half of class with plurals and then the second half with descriptive speech. So let's start with this. So can someone read number 1 and then tell me which word fits best in the sentence?
Cornelia is an area of beauty in Sri Lanka.
Natural beauty.
Yeah, perfect.
Natural
So
beauty.
yes. So Canelia is an area of natural beauty in Sri Lanka. What about number 2?
Most tourists.
Mm-hmm. All right. So most tourists love to visit Canelia. So how about number 3?
It is an ideal location for hiking during the dry season.
Perfect. How about number 4?
Streams of Cornelia are full of purity water that refreshes the travelers. Pure water.
Yes, pure water. All right. So streams of Canelia are full of pure water that refreshes the travelers. Well, how about number 5?
The cascades in Canelia beautify the environment with their natural grace.
Yep. So in this case, we'd be it would be beautify, right? Good job. So the cascades in Canelia beautify the environment with their natural grace. Awesome. Okay, so we can work on descriptive speech examples next week. Right now, let's move on to our conversation practice, and then we'll go over our homework. All right. So we have 2 prompts, and you can choose either prompt and answer it. So we have, what is your biggest fear and why? And then if you could make your own country, what would it be like? Describe it. You can just unmute yourself if you want to share.
Teacher,
Mhm.
can I talk about the second prompt?
Yes, go ahead.
If you could make your own country, what would it be like? Describe it. Uh, if I would make my own country, it would have a large surface area like it America or Canada.
Mhm,
Firstly.
mhm. And what would be the name
And
of your country?
name. I am really bad at names. I guess the
You could base it
citizens
off
can
yourself.
decide. I guess the citizens can decide what's the name of the
Okay,
countries.
okay,
They can decide what they want to call it.
okay.
Probably will have like the fastest internet of all of the earth on my country.
Mhm. And
Um,
in terms of geography, do you know which country's geography you would like in your country?
I
In
would
your
like to
fake
have
or the
geography of Sri Lanka because the hilly mountain areas are colder and the lower ocean levels are much more windier and much more temperate and
Mhm.
more warmer. Therefore, it's more comfortable to live in the country and you can choose wherever you are going to live.
All right, awesome. And let's see. You already described the
And
weather in your country. Um, what would the national food be and the national language?
national language. National language should be something that almost all people can learn extremely easily. So I
Mhm,
am going to go with one of the newer languages that have much less words and has way more easier grammar. That those
mhm.
have been invented that can be learned in like a month and be fluent months or something. One of
Okay,
those easier languages are what I am going to choose for my national language because it's much more easier for that foreigners can learn that as well.
okay. And what
And
about your national, oh yeah, your national food, and then also I want to know your national currency.
national currency would something I would go with something like a cryptocurrency because to
Mhm.
then I can reduce crime rates because all of those are on
Online.
crypto and
Yeah,
you need to confirm the transaction via many computers to confirm the transaction, they were producing crime rates exponentially
mhm,
using some cryptocurrency in my
mhm.
country.
All right.
The
And what
national
about,
food,
yes,
no national food,
no
people
national
can
food?
eat anything they like.
Okay. Is there like
Because
a
some people might get offended because I might put pizza or something and then there's so much fat and then some people might fight to get that overweight countries isn't that bad for the country.
Okay, that's fair. And what about the weather? So I noticed I saw that your geography, you wanted Sri Lanka's geography and warm oceans, but what about the weather inside Sri Lanka? Or like your country with Sri
The
Lanka's
weather
geography?
is that Sri Lanka is situated in the tropical zone in the earth. Okay. So therefore we do not have winter or summer. I would like to have winter and summer in temperate zones and like have about half of my a part of my country in the temperate zone, like in the landmass that is Canada, America, and Mexico.
Mhm.
The Mexico is, I think, is somewhat in the tropical zone. Is it?
A little
Mexico
bit,
is
yes.
in the tropical zone.
Yeah.
Like I want a part of my country to be in the tropical zone and a part of it to be in the temperate zone.
Mhm.
So people can visit if they want to be cold in winter, or people can either choose to be warmer in the tropical zone.
Yeah,
Whatever
if
they like.
I yeah, I agree. If I had to choose where to like make my fake country, I'd definitely choose Mexico. Because they have like very, very diverse land. Because they have all the way from like deserts to rainforests. So yeah.
I
All
honestly
right.
don't like deserts because they're just drier
Yeah.
and there's
They
nothing
don't
much
provide too much use.
entertaining.
That's true. Okay.
They
Sorry, go ahead.
And one of the things that I would take out of my country is a long 9 to 5 jobs. Like, why would you want to spend 8 hours of your life? Just why? It's not that enjoyable to doing a 9 to 5 every day.
Okay.
Wake up at 5
Yeah.
a.m., 6 a.m. Also, the
Okay.
schools are going to start late. Schools
Okay.
must start late. I can't wake up at 5 a.m. just so I can go to school.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. So
Okay.
Asuri's,
Thank you for listening.
okay, we'll say Asuri's country. All right, can someone else share? Either
Can I
number
talk
one or
now?
number two.
Number
Oh,
two.
Nathala, would you like to share?
Teacher, excuse me, my name's spelling is wrong.
Oh, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
No.
There you go.
Yes, no. It's
Sorry. That's my bad. Okay, Nathala, would you like to go?
Yes, teacher.
You could do number one or number two.
Teacher, if I could make my own country, I would like to keep it as a natural heaven.
Mm-hmm. So do you know what kind of geography or which country's geography you'd like to base it off of? So I know Asturias was based off Sri Lanka's geography.
I also teach Sri Lankan's geography.
Mhm.
And there is many resources in our country, but we couldn't use them. But we doesn't use them. There are
You could say we don't use them if you would like.
there is sunlight and hydropower, wind.
Mhm. So you could say renewable sources of energy.
Around the country there is ocean, pure water, and many islands. We can take these islands to develop our tourism. There are no energy prices, and we can make our own productions, and there is many sources to make them. This help to develop our country quickly, and
All right.
also there are many mineral resources we can use.
Mhm.
And education system also changing.
Mhm.
Education system also I want to change because of
You
this.
know which country you'd like to model the education system off of? Like, would you like a more, I guess, like I know in, sorry, go ahead.
I like to change it as a Finland education system because of we have heavy bags to carry in school, and it is very difficult to teachers and students.
Mhm. All right, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Would someone else like to go? And sorry, let me refill this one out too. And also, Nantala, do you have a name for your country?
No, teacher, I keep it as Sri Lanka.
You just want to keep, okay. We'll just do Sri Lanka number two. There you go. Okay. All right. Let's let's go over homework. And so homework again is just to read one English article and keep watching English TV. Can someone tell me what kind of English TV they've been watching recently? Or like if there's any English shows that have caught your attention or English movies?
I watching teacher Planet Fun English TV. Teacher.
Could you say that one more time? I'm sorry.
Can I watched Planet Fun English TV. It is a kids
Awesome.
TV.
So Planet Fun. All right, there's something that one of our classmates watched. Can someone else give me another example of what they've been watching recently? If it's English, any kind of English media. Even if it's English news, you could tell us what channel you've been looking at.
Average ending.
BBC, please.
BBC News? Isirika, could you say that one more time?
Average ending.
Oh, Average Andy? Did I spell it right? Is this correct? Okay. Awesome. So I got Planet Fun, BBC News. BBC's is pretty good. They do a lot of like world stories too, so you could learn more about that. So Planet Fun, BBC News, Average Andy. All right, so these are some good examples. And again, have as much English conversations as possible. So like when you're talking with your friends, just you know, try to I guess, I don't know, try to fit in as much English conversations as possible, but if not, remember just consuming English media is also good. So reading English articles or English newspapers, and then watching English TV will help you learn the language better. All right, so these are just some examples if you guys want to check them out. Okay, that was all for today's class. Thank you so much, everyone.